Welcome to Business Time. I am Melisha. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Today, we will be looking at the Entrepreneurship Unit 2, May June 2022 past paper. Now, let's look at question 1. So, the first case is Claude's concerns. Claude Plummer grew up in Junction, St. Elizabeth in rural Jamaica. He attended Monroe College and later went on to Northern Caribbean University, where he obtained a degree in management studies, but his program did not include entrepreneurship. Claude worked with a leading bakery company in Mandeville for 9 years, eventually becoming operations manager. Having attained a level of success, he started exploring different business options. Soon, his best friend, Roger, approached him with a business idea regarding the production of new smoke detectors that were specifically designed for persons living in smaller apartment-type spaces, an idea that was gaining popularity in the marketplace. Claude did his own informal feasibility study, which increased his enthusiasm for the business idea. Still, he had one main concern. He knew that there were various types of ventures from which he could choose. Initially, he thought of forming a partnership, as he thought that it would make the workload associated with getting the business off the ground more manageable. However, he heard that there were two main types of partnership ventures, and he was still unsure as to which one to select. So the first question, A1. State one advantage and one disadvantage that Claude could encounter in setting up a partnership. Can you think of any? All right, let's look at possible answers. One advantage is that he will not have to provide all the capital on his own. Others that you could put include workload is shared, exposure to a wider range of skill and knowledge by having more partners in the business. A disadvantage, decision making will take longer since the other partners will have to be consulted. Other disadvantages could be unlimited liability and conflicts can arise. Let's look at the next part of the question. Part 2 says, identify two types of business ventures not mentioned in the case that Claude could form. So you're going to try to come up with the answer based on the premise that he's not going to be doing this business alone. All right, so let's look at some possible answers. You could have limited liability company and a private limited company. Other types you could have include public limited company or a franchise. So let's look at B1. State two advantages of a sole proprietorship. Can you think of two advantages of a sole trader? All right, so let's look at possible answers. The owner gets all the profit, and also the owner has full control over his or her business. Other advantages could be that it is easy to form, there's low startup costs, and the owner makes all the decisions. All right, so the next question is state two advantages of a private limited company. Take a few seconds to think about it. All right, so let's look at some possible advantages. Private limited companies have limited liability where the owners do not risk losing their personal assets. A second disadvantage is that private limited companies do not have to publicly share their financial statements. Other possible advantages could be that private limited company has access to more capital as it can have more than one shareholder and has access to more expertise and skills. Let's look let's now look at part C. Explain one benefit associated with a limited partnership. Take a few seconds to think about it. All right, so let's look at a possible answer. It has limited liability. It has limited liability. The limited partner's liability is limited to what he invested in the business. This means that this partner's personal assets cannot be touched. Another benefit that you could look at as well is that there is easier decision making as limited partners do not have to be consulted when it comes to the day-to-day operations of the business. Let's look at the second part of the question. Discuss the importance of a written partnership agreement to the success of a partnership venture. It eliminates confusion among partners. This is so as the agreement sets out clearly the responsibilities and rights of all the partners involved. It lays out clearly how the profits, and R is missing there, PROFITS. It lays out clearly how the profits and losses will be shared, how decisions are to be made, and how disputes are to be resolved. The agreement will certainly help the business to operate efficiently. All right, that is it for question 1, case 1. Hope you learned something. See you next time.